Welcome to this Windows and Computer channel, and hey, Windows 10 April 2018 update. How about it? 78% they've reached, according to AdDuplex. Now, okay, how do we divide these numbers, and how do we actually take these numbers and make sense of them? AdDuplex measures its Windows 10 versions by looking at different apps from the Microsoft Store. So it's a little biased because we think, well, you know, it's 78% of all Windows 10. I would put it more into it's 78% of the consumer market. Why? Because businesses don't really use apps from the Microsoft Store, really. And so businesses are kind of not in there. Plus, I don't think businesses want to move that fast to the latest version of Windows 10. You know, it's always been typically the fact that they aren't really moving very fast and typically take a lot of time. I'm sure that the majority of businesses that are on Windows 10 are still in either Fall Creators Update or even Creators Update. So this is more consumer market oriented from the statistics that this is. But still, 78% is the fastest rollout that you can imagine. It's the fastest rollout of a Windows 10 operating system. And, you know, it brings you to a couple of ideas here. One is Microsoft a little careless in pushing this as fast and as much as that? That's a question that you can ask yourself. And we got to ask, you know, because, I mean, with Windows 10 having so many reports of issues, I would have thought, and I would have, actually, Microsoft should have slowed down its release in order to make sure that people don't actually have too much problems with it. It's something to think about, you know. One of the things also that's interesting, and when we think of the future of Windows 10, there are some changes, and I'll be posting another video on this channel about some changes that are actually coming, and it's all within the little hints that we have within Donna Sarkar's posts lately. So you know, there are changes, there are things that are not going to make it that we thought were going to make it in the next version. I think they're kind of realizing, you know what, we gotta do something to make sure that this is very good or better. And I think there's a realization that there's a problem within Microsoft, even though they can't say it. Honestly, they can't say, oh yeah, we know there's some problems, because it gives a negative image of Windows 10, and they don't want to have that. So they're not saying because they just don't want to have that negative image, but honestly, you still have it because a lot of people are complaining. So I think there are some changes that are needed, and I think they are actually actively starting to do these changes. If you're interested in knowing what some of them are, I'm going to post a separate video talking about what we know about the future of the next version of Windows and things that are changing in there. So 78%, that means the majority now of you watching this on Windows 10 are already there. We know that, you know, Fall Creators Update had reached something like 95%, which is a huge number. But the problem is, Fall Creators Update was not a problemed operating system. Creators and Fall Creators Update were both really good Windows 10 versions. Very little complaints. Now, April 2018 update is a different game. I was also thinking about this. You know, 78%. They're rolling really fast. I mean, the faster you roll out, the more, even, you know, let's just give an example. And here I don't want to defend Microsoft at all, by the way. Somebody called me a fanboy the other day, and it's like, no. I'm not defending Microsoft, okay? And I'm just giving out numbers and my opinion of what, you know, I think. Now, if this rolls out really fast, it would be logical that it also means more people are complaining. Okay, because let's face it, Fall Creators Update rolled out much slower. We had, there's the usual complaints. There's always somebody somewhere that has a problem with Windows 10. But, and with every version of Windows, by the way. It's not a Windows 10 thing. It's just Windows. But if we have a faster rollout, we'll have, of course, more people complaining. And doesn't mean there's, and we don't have any statistics. Honestly, there's no numbers that we can actually use, which is the big problem here. So let's say that 1% of everybody running Windows 10 had problems in Fall Careers Update. Well, that 1% of problems was slowly going on as Windows 10 was being rolled much slower rollout than now. So there were some regular folks with problems, but not that many. Now let's think about the fact that in a month, or a little more than a month, 50% were already there. 1% of a much faster rollout means much more people, even though the ratio of problems versus no problems stays the same. So I don't know if you understand my drift here. It would mean many more people are complaining at the same time, giving the impression there's more problems. But that said, when we look at April 2018 update and the number of people complaining about things, I have the impression that if we look, and it's purely an impression, but because like I said, we don't have any stats. But and Microsoft has stats, by the way. Microsoft has internally statistics of how many problems are in April 2018 update versus Fall Careers Update and Creators Update. They know. They really know. They're not just saying anything. So, what we look at is, well, maybe there's more than 1% that have problems. It's a very complex thing that's happening here. But, when I look at my channel here, when I ask questions, some of you have problems. It's obvious. A lot of you don't. That's also obvious. It's funny, And of course, it's dependent of hardware and all sorts of little things. There's also, and one of the things that I always like to point out, there's a base of people that will always have problems for a very simple reason. That base of people that have problems, some of them have problems just because they're using Windows 10 in such a way that they are themselves creating problems. As a tech guy, I often seen people with problems that were user-generated problems, not Windows-generated problems. But of course, there are Windows-generated problems. So I don't know. It's a kind of interesting outlook, and that number of 78% is amazing. And we're kind of wondering if it's not a little bit careless at the same time. I don't know. It's something that we have to kind of think about. If you enjoy my videos, and what do you think? And please, okay, I just want to say one thing. If you leave comments, can you please not leave comments with F words in them? Okay? That would be, because I remove all the comments with F words or bad words. If you want to state your opinion, please do so in a clean and constructive way. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.